Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish. They're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello. Welcome to Wednesday Wham. We're kind of short a few people having technical issues. They will get here when they can. We are talking about comic conventions, getting ready, professionalism, all Comic Con stuff. Barb, John, how many other Silverliners are showing up at Daytona Beach Comic Con this week in Florida? I think the whole company?
six or seven of us.
Yeah.
Well, there won't be you.
I will be there next year if they have it. Yeah, well, Peter would just have to ship in a box.
There won't be
Curtis won't be.
Let me see.
Not Curtis and not Dean. I know that.
Yeah, if Dean was going, it would have been so much easier for me. I'd have caught a ride with him.
There's myself. There's Brent Larson.
Mm-hmm. Haley. I think Haley's there.
John Crowther. John Martin. John Mytek. Roland.
Some guy named
Scott.
Yeah, Roland
Tommy.
and Scott and Tommy.
Tommy.
That's a lot.
So 9.
Yeah, and that actually, amazingly, after 30 years of doing conventions, this is my first time ever doing one in Florida.
That is actually kind of impressive, considering Florida's a huge state. We think Roland seems to be at a convention every other weekend.
I know.
I know.
My first time doing one in Florida too.
Oh, really? So, okay, well, I'll introduce myself, Aaron Humphreys. Let's just get the introductions out of the way. Not that anyone watching this doesn't already know who we are. I'm Jafar Rush. I am the pencil on upcoming obsoletes, and I do my own comic galleries, trying to webtoons in my store, Humphreys Illustration at bigcartel.com. Blah, 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 blah. John, tell us what you do, man.
I'm the inker on Fry Rush.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
I'm also the inker on Wolf Hunter. I've done some cover work for Silverline, and I've done some, sketch card work for Upper Deck and for some couple of Marvel sets and Dynamite. But I'm nowhere as cool as the person below me.
Oh,
yeah, Barb. And make sure you guys check out John's commission. John's looking for commission to get a really cool drawing from John. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I want a cool drawing from John. I may have to jump in there.
Commission for life.
Yeah.
Even though I love people. My name is Barbara Kalberg. I've been a comic book artist for over 30 years. I've worked for everybody and their dog. My current role at Silverline is not only the CFO, so I've been going through accounts the last couple of days. Oh my God. I'm also inking issue 4 of the original Cat and Mouse. There's another one lined up to go after it.
Yeah. That'd be issue 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am getting ready to start inking and coloring issue number 3 of my book, Divinity.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I'm also coloring a remix of a black and white from way back when, a graphic novel of Sirens.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see that one. Yeah. I think you showed me some stuff from that. One of these days, I'm going to have to, if I can get you to ink at least one page of my pencils, just because I want to see your inks on my pencils. And I'm sure you'll probably use crayon. She's like, I'll use crayon for you. And I'm like, just I want to see one, you and Tommy. So I'm going to try to coerce you and Tommy just one page. At least I want to see your inks on my stuff. But yeah, we're talking about.
It's kind of weird. Barbie, something I did. It was kind of weird having somebody else ink it.
Yeah. We're having Jose Fuentes ink Obsoletes, and he's great. He just joined our team, so I'm excited to see his.
He's another cutie.
It's fun. It's as an artist, as a penciler, it is fun to get people inkers to like ink your stuff, even one thing just to see, because you get totally different results.
Well, and then that's what we're finding with I'm doing a piece with Rob Davis for Divinity.
Oh yeah.
And he's used to penciling and inking his own stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I said yes. So because Divinity is my own property, I said, well, I want you to pencil, but I want to ink. And he was blown away with how different his stuff looks with my inks.
Yeah. I'm kind of sitting back in that picture I drew of the Divinity for that badge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
thinking I probably should have done a little bit more to it.
It looks for a badge, it's perfect. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For as small as it is, yeah.
Just to see how much further you could have taken it.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm just like, I'm always like, yeah, go. But even Jose is adding stuff to my inks. Like, I didn't even think of that. That's really cool. Yeah.
I was adding stuff to yours too and subtracting.
Yeah, that's what I like about you. You do my stuff, you subtraction, like, oh, it looks so different. It looks clean. My stuff is. I don't know how messy it is. My biggest, I told Jose, I'm so sorry. I'm like Rob Davis. I'm used to inking and doing my own stuff. I have a bad habit of don't like re-accentuating the panel borders. So I said, if you're confused with what the panels end and start, send it back to me. I'll put the borders in. He's like, no, I can see it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, for some, because I'm so used to like, oh, I know where they are. I don't. So now when I send it to people, I'm like, oh, I haven't been reinforcing those borders the whole time. They're going to be looking at me and like, are there? He actually said like, does this guy have any borders to his work? And I'm like, yes. I'm an idiot. I just, bring it back to me. I'll fix it for you. Yeah. So as dumb as it is, I always forget that. Because I actually had somebody ink and he was actually adding different panels. He cut right through a panel. I'm like, well, there's no panel. Oh, I see what's going on. He's not seeing it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and see, since the piece I'm doing with Rob is Divinity, and I'm very particular about the faces, I wanted, and he has a very particular style of doing faces for of his own. They look really different from what he penciled. So he's like, whoa, but he really likes them. He's like, I've never, he's not used to seeing other people ink his stuff, but it's very interesting, very dynamic. He's been loving it.
That's cool. So is Rob Davis wasn't the original artist in Divinity? Is he new?
This is for that little special piece. That's
got it. Yeah. He's still doing he's doing the vampire series. There's 2 vampire series. You have the guy in the motorcycle. I can't remember his name. Like Bloodline.
He's doing Twilight Grim.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the one.
Twilight Grim. Yeah.
So, yeah. So are you guys all getting ready? Are you guys flying down to Daytona Beach for the convention? Or?
I'm flying down, and that's really has changed the way that I'm getting ready for the convention. So we're going to segue right into here.
Yeah.
Into doing conventions, how to get ready for them. a lot depends on the location. So if I'm doing a local show or if it's within driving distance, my whole back of my car is packed. I've got a huge tub. I've got an 8-foot banner on a 12-foot poles, and I can hang artwork from it. And I've got tablecloths, and I've got long boxes of books I've got books from 30 years worth of books, and I still have freebies of those left to sell. I don't know why.
I now suddenly want to go through her stash of comics.
Yeah.
But you see, that I can all pack in the back of a car and drive there. Flying is a whole different beast. You have to pare it down to the very bare essentials, unless you want to pay through the nose to take big suitcases of stuff under the plane, and I'm not willing to do that. Yeah. Plus,
it's probably cheaper to ship it to Roland.
Right.
In this case.
Plus, you have to know what kind of space you're going to be allotted.
Exactly.
Most of the time, I'm asked to be a guest, and I usually have at least 8 feet. Sometimes more. Sometimes I'm given a corner table.
Oh yeah, would they do that?
8 feet in front. Yeah. I have 8 feet in front and 4 feet to the side. So like I said, hey. But because we're all going to be, a lot of us, like 6 of us, are going to be sharing the Silverline booth. I've got like 4 feet. Okay, so you have to take that into account.
I know Roland said there was going to be a bunch of space.
I have, even a bunch of space. You got at least 6 people in the booth. It's still going to be. So I also have a vertical banner for reduced spaces. It's about 3 or 4 feet wide, and it's tall. So I'm taking the vertical banner, and that will go under the plane. And then I'm taking 2 portfolios full of original artwork and some prints, and that's it. Yeah. Normally I would take a bunch of books, but Roland's got them all there with me, so I don't have to bring my books. He'll have them all. So it's an extremely pared down a setup.
Yeah, that's what I was running into when I was going to go to. Unfortunately, I won't be at Daytona, hopefully next year. But when I was going down, flying from here, Roland has most of my books, but my Goblin series and my 2 kids books, he does not. Now, kids books are fine, but they're hardbacks. So even if doing 5 copies are heavy, and I think they charge by weight, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, how am I going to get those down? And so again, how much table space? Are we going to have room to sell these things? So I was like, that is a whole. And Roland suggested something that I think next time I do that, I'll take him up on it. He's like, why don't you just have Tommy print them? And you know what? I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. So I think next time he's going to have Tommy print what I need, and he'll just have it right on hand.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, common sense. Oh, look!
Figure it out, Scott?
No, I don't. I didn't figure. I mean, I have a connection. Working? I turned it off, turned it back on, turned it off, turned it back on, and we'll see. I guess
sometimes if you pet the computer and say just uplifting things to it'll work. It's okay.
Can do it. It's okay. It's the joys of living in the boondocks, I guess. Our internet connection, and sometimes it works. If there's weather between here and the internet, it'll slow things down. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'm here. So, you may have to if I talk about something you've already mentioned, I apologize. So
we're just talking about. First of all, you need to introduce yourself.
Oh
yeah, who are you?
Oh,
yeah, why are you interrupting this stream, dude? I mean,
thought I'd just jump in.
Yeah.
If we haven't met before, my name's Scott Wakefield, and I co-wrote Steam Patriots here for Silverline, and I sometimes, when I can get on the internet, host the show here. You guys have been doing a great job. I think sometimes it's better for me just to watch. You guys have it down. You guys have a great routine. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to be at Daytona. I'm going to see you guys, most of you, I think, here in just a couple of days. And tonight, when we wrap up, I got to bounce because I'm going to try to. I've got 10,000 things to do, and I'm going to hit the road tomorrow morning. I've got according to Google, it's about 17 hours of drive time for me to get to Florida. So
you only got 5 more hours than me.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love driving. So
strangely enough, that'll be nothing for you. Didn't you go across country just like last month?
I did just last month.
So this will be nothing.
That was 3-4 weeks of driving, and this is 17 hours. I'm going to split it up in 2 days and say hey to some family about halfway through. I'll be there in Florida Friday evening, ready for Saturday's convention. And I just caught the tail end of you guys talking about packing. Barbara, I'm going to be driving, so I've got the van, and I'm going to throw in everything I can think of. But I'm a newbie to this whole industry, so I don't have a portfolio. I've got more patches if people want them.
Oh yeah.
And little business cards with a QR code to take them to Indie Planet. So that's it. And Tommy Kablam's got extra comic books for me, so they'll be there. I've got a little.
What you were pointing out there, it's always good to have freebies. It was like, I've got like 2 bags of these that I give out. I at the end of conventions, I'm shooting them off into the crowd like that,
Well, I'm going to charge. These are regularly $50, but I'm going to discount them way down. So you guys are getting a deep discount at the convention.
$49.
$49.
Yeah, at the convention, I'm going to talk to you about where you got the patch from, because I think I'm going to.
I can hook you up. I got a great connection, and we can design. I got a great connection. The leaderpatches.com did these, and I can get you hooked up and get you a great deal. And then these came. So I'm not going to say I did get them from one of the major vendors, and they told me there'd be no white border. Well, there's a white border. Oh well. That's they're ready.
It's funny. Yeah, business cards are like that. Do you guys ever put bowls of candy out in your table?
That's a good idea.
I've done that for years.
I've seen it.
I have a big bottle of freaking hand sanitizer on my table.
Yeah. I did put hand sanitizer.
Pandemic, right as the pandemic was hitting, I was at Wizard World Cleveland, and I had a huge thing of hand sanitizer on my table too. So that was before
I'm also going to
the
have
mask
like
mandate.
a stack of 6 portfolios.
It's funny. I have one portfolio and I sell prints out of it. I have 6 pages of original art. No takers yet, but I got Roland. He's the one that at one of his shots at a convention, he had this white rack where he put all his books. I hunted that down, and that thing was a lifesaver, because I'm sitting there going how am I going to display 10 comic books on a table? And then he found that rack, and I'm like, yes, and it just works perfect. Easy setup and easy takedown. So my rack full of comics portfolio, my kids' books.
Some stuff. Was it you that posted those in chat?
Which ones?
Scott.
Oh, yeah, I've got some clear magazine stands. You guys can use those. Yeah, the more you were talking about space being at a premium, it's tough too to get. You want to get everything out, and then when you've got 30 years of a portfolio, you want everybody to look at it, but you also don't want you get the person that stands there for an hour, and takes up and capitalizes all your time and all your space. I haven't done a lot of conventions. I've done a lot of motorcycle shows and stuff like that, and we love people. That's the whole point. We go to see people, but sometimes you get the person that just doesn't get it. they stand right there, and people, you can tell there's people behind interested. They're very interested, and then they just give up. They give up and they walk away.
Usually because they see somebody standing there. That's why they're interested.
And you're losing potential sales because the hanger-on just won't.
You try to be polite. My tactic I found, and this worked for me, is you get the chatty guy, and it's fine. So what I do is I come around the table, and I kind of nudge that chatty person around the side of the table. And then I turn back and I'm kind of talking sideways to that person. I let them talk to me, and I talk, but I clear the front of the table and let people come back to the table, so I can still interact with that person. Because of course I want to talk, I want to be polite and say hi. But sometimes it's just you got to let other people join the fun. But I didn't want to jump too far ahead to con etiquette. I think we were talking about prepping, right?
I have not ever once been able to being terrible to a person that comes,
Yeah.
or tell them that I'm sorry, but could you move? I'll just stand there.
Some people are rude. Some of the professionals
Yeah.
will just be like, get out of here.
I cannot be rude to anybody. I just can't.
It's hard for me too.
I'm chatty too. I think that's kind of, we're all on the show. We like to talk. We can talk, and I have no problem talking. My wife gives me a hard time because I will politely engage, and then I know like I'm telling myself, okay, disengage, end the conversation, and then I ask a question, and then I say something that just keeps it going. I'm like, what am I doing? Stop it! Stop talking.
Are you guys? Are you guys going to be wearing masks at the show?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
And not even if it wasn't mandatory, I would, because I've got grandkids that aren't immunized.
Yeah.
I have my vaccine, but you can still carry it back home, and I'm not going to put my grandchildren at risk.
Strangely enough, I discovered this convention wearing a mask this last one I went to. It is very hard to project your voice.
Yeah.
And it's very hard sometimes to understand people. So there's a lot of people talking to me. I'm like, I hope you just didn't say I was an idiot because I agreed with you.
You are too. Yeah.
I was like, I don't. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It felt like I was kind of cut off to my fans. Like, because a lot of times I would, people walk by like, oh, I love your costume, I love your shirt, like say stuff, and I would say stuff to people, and they would not hear me and just keep walking. I'm like,
yeah, and see, that's another thing we're talking about. What to do at conventions. If you have a booth, it was very, very hard for me to teach myself to do this, but to engage people who are walking by. I would see the guy next to me would like literally grab the people as they're walking by and, hey, you look at my book, and I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't either. It's hard for me, super hard.
And a lot of times I'll get stuck across from this massive booth that's got, the posters that are 50 feet high, and people are always like this, and they don't see me because I'm on the other side of the aisle. So I have to make an effort to say, oh God, I love your shirt, or boy, that's a great costume you've got on. I'll make comments just to get them to turn around and look at me, make eye contact.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Even this last convention, I was trying.
How you doing?
But you guys got Roland. And Roland, man, is a secret weapon. I want to clone Roland and stick him in my booth.
Yes.
Roland sells stuff. Yeah, I know that.
Well, actually, I'm bringing somebody. I got somebody riding with me because I've never driven down that way. He has. Yeah. And it's a 12-hour drive for me, which is a little bit of a pain, for me. Straight. So
strangely enough. Oh, go ahead. Keep talking.
And he is going to help out with sales too.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Cool.
Is he a good? Strangely enough, the person I have found out that helps me with sales the most, and this is weird. So keep this in mind, anyone out there in Comic Land. Every once in a while, I'll bring my mother.
Oh.
Your mother will sell like that. It's a secret weapon.
Oh man!
I have sat her down and she's like, "Oh, come look at my." And I'm just
like,
just go. I'm like, take off, just glow about your son, go. And they're like, "Oh, we love you." Oh yeah. Well, no, like, why do you bring your mom? Like, she sells stuff. Just sit her down and let her go. Yeah.
I'm gonna my friend. I'm gonna send him over to Roland. I'm gonna go Roland, Randy, Roland, and I'm gonna go Roland. Fill him in. He's gonna help us sell.
Yeah.
Fill him in. Everything.
Once
you him the 30-second pitch.
Yeah.
And then let's rock and roll.
I feel like once you for me at least, it takes me a little while. And once I do it, once I just get over it and I don't care and say, okay, this is my comic I want to sell. I want to interact with people. Once I start, and then I can do it. I have to just get over being self-conscious about it. And I've also found if I ask, I haven't done a lot for Steam Patriots. Actually, this is my first real convention. I shared a table with my buddy Dan Hosick, who colored and lettered Steam Patriots. He's got his own comic as well, and he let me hang out back before mine was done. I had kind of an ash can copy, and I would ask people, "So, do you like steampunk?" As they'd go by. And, oh yeah, rarely. No, I hate it. They'd say, "Oh yeah," and they say, "Well, I've got a steampunk comic," and so Dan was doing the same thing. He'd say, "Oh, you like superhero comics? You like, 80s style comics?" That's what he'd ask. He'd just engage him with a question. But yeah, you just have to get over it, and it's tough because you feel weird. But just don't be though. I hate going to table. I don't know why someone, especially if they pay for a table, They bring all their stuff, and then they sit there and you walk by the table, and they don't even look up. I don't understand that at all. What are you doing here? Because I, as a consumer, I want to just walk by their table. I don't have all day. I'm going to go talk to the person that says hello, or the person that's engaging me. And
I know. I see people. That's why I don't do
people walking by while I'm sketching.
Yeah,
that's why I don't do commissions.
As an introvert myself, I had to teach myself to be on.
Yeah.
You know, and to engage people. And that doesn't only go just for conventions and selling your stuff at a booth, but that's for networking as well.
Yep.
Conventions are an awesome place to network, but you have to be able to approach somebody. And I had to teach myself to be able to have the cojones.
You can't let it pass by. That's a moment. That's a moment that you could have that if you just no, and you don't want to do it. You might be a bumbler. Because I'm a bumbler, I think
introverts here.
Yeah, and I think it is a lot of it. It's rare to be creative and to choose a career path where you're mostly alone,
right?
And then to add on to it being I'll talk and I throw me on a camera or TV. No, most of us want to do our own thing, and then you add to it a lot of our fan base and a lot of we're the same way. We're kind of a lot of introverted people, a lot of people who like comic books and sci-fi and fantasy. Yeah, but you don't get a lot of, and that's when when the celebrities show up. That's why they're celebrities. They're different. They're a different breed.
When I first started doing comics, I went to San Diego Comic-Con. Oh my God, it was 1988, 89, and to push myself on editors or other artists to ask for their opinions. I could do it for about 2 hours, and then I'd have to go back to my room and have a panic attack. and then I would go out and do it again and go back to my room and have a panic attack. It was just excruciating, but I was so driven to do it that I forced myself to learn how to press the flesh, smile, and open a conversation with somebody.
It's weird because I had a friend who is going there showing his portfolio to the other artists trying to get in, and I talked to him a little bit, and I was like, your best bet is just to make your own comic at a table and sell it. I mean, you can hunt down an editor at a con if you're lucky. Most don't show up to cons.
It used to be a lot easier.
It used to be a lot easier. But I was like, with the advent of the internet and the way things are going, just make your comic and get it out there. Don't rely on somebody giving you a chance, because you could just make your chance. You can make it with all the stuff out there. There's no editors used to be the gatekeepers, so not so much anymore, because you can just circumvent around and get straight to your customers through the internet, through conventions and whatnot.
Right, and if you make a big enough splash on the internet, they will come to you.
Yes,
they will come.
That's
to
what
you.
It's actually what they're looking for now. That's the model. They want you to do all the legwork that they did. Used to
then jump in it and
collect. You're a ready-made product.
Hey, he's got a fan base. Let's go get him.
Exactly, exactly. And then they can capitalize on and then that's where you're an overnight success after 20 years of trying.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder how many publishers have approached Brian Pulido and wanted to do She, and he kept it for himself. Not She, Lady Death.
Yeah, Billy Tucci.
Yeah.
Billy was She.
She. Yeah.
Billy Tucci does She, and Brian Pulido does Lady. I wonder how many publishers have approached Brian, though. I mean, Lady Death is a moneymaker. You would love to have that under your titles. I'm sure you're.
To have that problem.
Yeah, in your stable.
Yeah,
I think Dynamite had it for a minute, and then he got it back. Who
did?
Dynamite.
Oh, really?
They got the rest of the Chaos Universe characters.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I do remember that now.
I actually got to work on that card set, the 25th anniversary. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have a Lady Death page around.
You guys were saying about just make your comic and get it out there. That's a great tactic. And again, I can't take this. This isn't my wisdom, but again, Dan, my good buddy Dan, he was saying the dynamic changes when you're attending a show, a convention or whatever, and you're on that side of the table. But the moment you're on the other side of the table, you have a table. You're not necessarily a peer. Not everyone will see you on par, with the biggest. But it changes the dynamic. You got the lanyard on. It's just one more step that you're a little closer. It's a silly anecdote, but I was there with a lanyard, and it was during the setup time, and Bob Layton was there at the Nickel City Con in Buffalo. And I asked him, hey, can I come tomorrow with my Iron Man poster, the one with all the suits on it? And would you mind signing it? And yeah, that's cool. Of course. And we chatted for a while, and he talked, and it was just a little different level than just being that kind of that fawning fanboy, or just you go from obscurity to just a little step. Oh, you've done a thing. You've done the work to at least get started. And so that sets you apart. Anything to set you apart just a little bit is monumentally helpful. And it's just one little thing. It might be that one thing to make the difference. So
and you have to fight. I will say that this is, and don't take, okay, so the last convention I was next to a gentleman, really nice guy, but he sold fan prints of Disney characters dressed as Jedis in Star Wars or whatever. Don't let guys like that intimidate you, because they're going to outsell you all the time. Why? Because they have a built-in fan base they're catering to.
Mm-hmm.
But always remember, that's their ceiling. What they're doing is all they can do. They cannot take that any further, because Disney will come on them with a hammer. I mean, they're technically not supposed to be doing that,
right?
But we look the other way. So people sometimes get dismayed when they see people do the fan art selling tons. I'm like, yeah, because they're going for that cheap gimmick, that cheap, buy. Oh, I like that princess.
I got very upset about that. One of the other Wizard Worlds that I was doing, the print people right across from me was basically had the same pose. Oh yeah, towers. They had the same pose on all of the guys. They just changed the superhero outfit.
Yeah,
it was like cookie cutter, and they were just selling like mad. They made thousands of dollars at that convention. I was like, that's not art, you people.
It's not. And when people come by and see my stuff, they're like, oh, you do original comic? It is always much harder to sell people on original stuff.
Yeah.
But the sky is the limit if it takes off and people like it, because you can do whatever you want, especially if it's yours. But yeah, I do sell some fan stuff, but I rarely sell fan stuff. I was happy at this show that everything I sold was my own books. So I was happy about that. But I made probably a fraction of the guy next to me or whatever, but I'm just like, whatever. I just don't, I'm like, I just see it in a completely different field. Fan art, I mean, how many teenage girls, oh, I love Disney princess or anime. It's the anime pinups, especially if they're sexy anime pinups. Oh, they just make bank, but that's all they're going to do.
It's geek bait.
Yeah, that's all they're going to do. So yeah, any artists out there who get dismayed by that, don't get dismayed. What you're doing is much harder, but if it pays off, it's much more gratifying than selling some Disney character dressed as a Jedi or something. Where I'm like, wow, how original, mixing genres together. I've never seen that before. And people love it. There was one, he dressed up this Baymax character as a stormtrooper. People loved it. Oh, look at Baymax, so cute, whatever. And I'm like, it's such an easy gimmick. It's kind of, again, one of my little bit of pet peeves with cons is becoming pop cons, not comic cons. And because of that, most of the people there are coming there for those big corporate franchises they want to get stuff of. And so it's very hard to get your stuff seen by those people, because they don't care about that. They want Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, Disney. They want all of that, and that's where they're going. And it's very frustrating. If you can get them in something new, it's great, but generally it's hard to find comic readers. They're out there. They still come. So, yeah.
That's why I do something a little different. I'll put out a little bit of the fan stuff out there to catch their eye.
Yeah. People have done that too.
I have prints.
Then to get them to go through all the stuff and see the other stuff. And sometimes that leads to questions, which then, and 9 times out of 10, they're walking away with a book or a print.
My prints are all mainstream stuff.
Yeah. And most people are, but then you get to sell your original stuff. Oh, I sell fan prints and stuff.
Yeah.
I've got some Silverline prints. The 2 covers I did, I printed those out and made prints of them.
Well, why do you think I put Benjamin Franklin in my comic book? I can't keep people away, right?
I know. That guy's Well, you put a sex if you put a sex symbol like that in your book,
Yeah,
I mean,
sexy Benjamin Franklin.
Strangely enough, he was a stud with the ladies, man. He was
a super celebrity in France. He really was. And he specifically would wear like drab brown out of style clothing and like a fur skin hat because they thought he was this bumpkin colonial, and compared to Paris aristocrats, yeah, he was a celebrity. So that's why he's in my comic. I mean, people just droves they see Benjamin Franklin, and
he was a womanizer. Yeah.
So we've talked about like banners, how to get the banners in your books and stuff like that. There's some small items that people really should think about taking, and I've got some right here for me. There's a lot of shows. Yeah, there's a lot of shows now that don't provide you with a badge or a lanyard, so you might want to take some of your own.
Take your own lanyard.
Yeah.
Local shows especially don't pay for that. And actually, and this is something that Maggie Thompson turned me on to because she's got one of these. I've got one like this that's got my
passport.
Yeah,
it's got who I am, and behind it, it's got room for, what is this? Oh, business cards. I keep my hotel key in it.
Very clever.
The backside, you've got room for your pens.
Ooh.
And it's got a pocket back here, which has got my change.
See, I keep all that in my fanny pack.
And
that's why I have a wallet.
Yep. Another thing that I have is I have 2 sets of business cards. Why 2 sets? One set is for the fans, which does not have my telephone number on it.
Yeah.
And the other ones is for the pros, which does have my telephone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. I always get my telephone numbers, but I just use young people are so phone phobic that they'll never call me.
They don't call. Yeah.
Yeah. They may text me, but they'll never call me. So I never worry about the young fans.
It'd be my luck. I end up with a stalker.
Yeah, I know.
I have ended up.
Wait, you don't have one yet, John?
Okay, you're gonna want a combination of pens. I've got Sharpies. Yeah. I've got metallic pens.
Yeah.
I've got regular small Sharpies, large Sharpies for signing, depending on whether it's a dark cover or a light cover. You want something different. I never, ever, ever travel without a portable battery because
that's something I need to get into, the phone and stuff.
It has because you're sitting at a convention for 8 hours a day, and the stuff that you've got is going to run out. Whether it's your phone, your iPad, or whatever, or it's going to run out. So I carry a portable battery. Also,
got one of those.
Don't forget to bring your method of payment, whether it's Square or PayPal.
Yeah. I do the Square thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a PayPal. I like this because it's just you can either slide, or you can either swipe or insert. Yeah, reads a chip, but it also runs. You got to charge it up. So again, about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the day, it starts to run low, and I need the battery to juice it up.
She's a professional at this.
She sure is. She's
that's 30 years of experience there, right there, gentlemen.
Yep, right there. There. Me.
San Diego Comic Con. She's got the evil eye.
Show off. God.
I don't even. The funny thing is some of the bigger cons like San Diego, unless you're relatively a known name, is it even worth it to go to those bigger cons? I've usually found medium or smaller cons work better to my advantage.
They do.
Being relatively unknown.
I find the local shows, I make more money at the local shows.
You could meet the bigger people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I want to actually, do a big con and go and talk with the Todd McFarlanes and the Marks, the Restrooms, if possible, and go, hey.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, Rose City has some, we had, Frank Cho was there. I don't read a lot of superhero comics anymore, so a lot of the mainstream artists, I know some of them. I don't know. There was a guy named Matthew Clark, I think is relatively popular. I walked by, somebody told me, I'm like, I've heard the name, I wouldn't be able to point out his art. I know David Finch. He's been around many years.
So there's a lot really nice to talk to, too.
Yeah. But a lot of the people that I used to go see, like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld, they're there, you know, I was amazed when they brought Mike Mignola and Jeff Darrow, and everybody was seeing Mike Mignola, but Jeff Darrow was just left alone. I'm like, really, Jeff Darrow? So I talked to him. It's funny too. The older I noticed that the older veterans you see, the more grumpy they are. The more they're just like, I'm here. What do you need? Like the suitcase isn't even unpacked. Like they just throw stuff on the table and like, what do you want? I'm here. Leave me alone. Adam Hughes was the greatest one. He was the funniest. They gave him like 2 tables at this con, and he showed up in his shorts or whatever, and he sat there, looked the grumpiest look on his face. He didn't talk to us. His wife, I think it was his wife did. He had a little portfolio, just a little one. It's all he threw on the table, this little portfolio of prints. Nothing else on the table. He was just like, I'm here. What do you want? And his wife was super nice, but he sat there just like, I do not want to be at this convention. Must have having a bad day or something. So
I have a writer friend that a well-known writer friend, and he would be flown around to conventions, and he would take a backpack of books. That's it. You know, he'd throw them on the table. He didn't have a banner behind him. He relied on the thing that they would hang. You know, one of these that they would hang on the table.
Yeah, and on the front table. Yeah.
And that's it.
Did he do okay at the conventions?
I have no idea. I never asked him.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was there to sell his books that he had written. And that was it. He had no artwork, just the books, and he'd throw a few of them on the table, and that was it.
It's, it does. I need to get my banners. I thought my banner's relatively big, but apparently when I go to the convention, it's like, no, my banners are dwarfed by everything. So I need to get a bigger banner. The banners do make a difference. I mean, if you can do a giant, even if your stuff is like, say the stuff is not very good, if you do a ginormous banner, people stop and like, if you make your booth look professional and exciting, people will want to buy it.
And
that's why
I gotta do a new banner. I haven't been able to do a new.
You can do a screen. If you got to have power, that's the thing. But if you can plug in a screen and hang that up with it cycling through art or have a graphic going, that's a big thing. Same like I was saying, just one thing to set yourself apart from everybody else to stand out.
My large banner is bright yellow with Barbara Kaelberg in red across it, and then around it is the symbols of all the companies, most of the companies I've worked for. Like DC, Marvel symbol, Silverline's right in the middle. And
that you can come, because those things catch. I mean, I've had a few people I've talked to. I used to work at Marvel a little bit, and he's like, I don't know if I should put that on. I'm like, no, that should be the top of your list. Why? And I'm like, because people gravitate towards that. Then you can sell them anything else. But once they think you work for Marvel or something, like, and they just hone in on it.
The little one I'm bringing with me now is bright red with black writing. So I go for the big colors that pop.
Right.
So you're walking by and like, whoa, what's that splash of color?
I can see her as like black with like neon, lights that just kind of blink and stuff, She's got the blinking, like the 2 blinking legs.
Yeah.
At the end of her name. Woohoo!
Yeah, I haven't. I've got to step up my game. I didn't think I'd have an opportunity, like you guys were saying. It was going to be a lot of Silverliners there, so for all of us to have our branding out might get a little tough. So, down the road, I got to get some Steam Patriot stuff. I want to get the banner. I don't know what else I'll need.
I got to get a bigger banner. Yeah,
it's going to be pretty light for me this time. But that's fine.
I need to update my banner.
And there's people who have you guys ever done the big where they do the piping and then they build the pipe things and stuff? Are those really easy to build? And like, they get the hooks? They look. I don't know. I've seen people do that. It seems like I don't see how. If I was to sell prints, I would do that because you can put them in the prints. But it doesn't seem. I would rather just buy a professional looking banner if it's just like.
I just bought a 12-foot photography stand that people set up for to hang the white sheets on. Mm-hmm. So I bought a 12-foot photography stand. It's got a bar across the top. And I can put it 8 feet long, and so that's what I hang my banner on. And from my banner, I hang all of my prints that I have available.
Okay.
So it makes a whole wall behind me.
Yeah. Does that it seems like I just noticed as I go to the conventions, I upgrade every year. I upgrade a little bit more.
Yeah, that's also what I did too.
And eventually, you just kind of change it. You see, somebody else has an idea. I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. I should steal that.
And if you all keep, I got to get a bigger banner than so and so. I got to get a bigger. Pretty soon the banners are going to be.
And they actually, I think even Rose City says like you can't have a banner beyond so many feet or whatever because they're probably like stopping that.
Yeah, they got to rein it in.
Higher than 6 feet, but they don't uphold that because your fan print back factories, theirs are freaking ginormous.
Yeah.
They're like 10, 12 feet.
And then you go to the professional booths like Dark Horse and the major companies, and they have the huge display with like the little foam cutout cardboard 3D effects that are like taped on top and stuff that come out, and stuff like that.
And don't forget they have booth babes too.
Do they still do that? I haven't seen any.
Well, that's what I was going to be for John on this one.
They used to do that a lot, but they have. It's become more politically incorrect.
I think the only person that still does that is Brian Polito.
Yeah. And I bet it's
But that makes sense, I would think. You know, strangely enough, you're right. I haven't seen many booth babes. Now, I've seen lots of booth babes wandering the hall, let's say, not connected to any. But yeah, I remember now thinking about that. When did you go to San Diego years ago? There was always some girl in a bikini. Like,
that was before the real cosplay really took off, and now everybody's a professional cosplayer, and you can just see your booth babes out walking around.
I don't know. That's a weird thing for me. The professional cosplayers.
I mean, they're actually advertised at conventions now.
Yeah,
too.
they are.
If I see somebody, somebody cosplay Seraph from Friar Rush, I would do a free 9x12 sketch for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. As much as odd as I think the whole
one.
Yeah.
Looks like you should.
If someone cosplays a character from any of our books, I think they need to get some sort of special attention. Be a Silverline VIP. We'll put that. Hey, we'll put that out there. I'll say it right now. All right. I don't think Roland will complain.
I've said it live.
If we get a Silverline cosplayer, you will get VIP status.
That's right.
Pick any character from the array of Silverline titles.
Yeah.
Hey, to keep the schedule going, we're coming up on the midpoint here. I don't know, Aaron, if you reminded everybody to go to silverlinecomics.com and check out all of our titles. Also, did you guys mention the Kickstarter campaign that's going right now? Okay, Kickstarter.com. You can.
We make comic books or something like that.
Yeah, every once in a while. We've got a few. We've got a handful. We actually have a lot of comic books. If you look at all the titles, right now though, the Kayla story is coming to its completion, and you can read all 4 titles, number 3 and number 4 in the 4-part series. They are on Kickstarter right now, and Indiegogo. That is where you can get the full trade paperback, or as people like to call them, graphic novels. We won't split hairs on the differences between the two. If you want to call it a graphic novel, that's okay. You're going to get the full Kayless story on Indiegogo. So go over there and search for Kayless, Kayless, and you can see all of the information on our Facebooks, our Instagrams, we're on LinkedIn, and like I said, silverlinecomics.com, and you'll see all of our titles. So we would love for you to go check those out. If you've been following the Kayla story, you're going to want these titles. And this weekend is Daytona Beach Comic Convention, and they've been a sponsor of Silverline and these shows for a long time now. I feel like I've been saying brought to you by for like close to a year, I feel like, and they have been very supportive. So we are thankful for their support. And that is this weekend, the 18th and 19th at the Volusia County Fairground in Florida. And there will be quite a few Silverline creatives there. And yes, John, you had an inspiration, something to say?
Oh, I was actually going to say, and the badges there will be Silverline characters.
Yes. And if you need incentive to wake up early, roll out of bed early on a Saturday, and that's not super early, but the first 250 attendees will get a free Silverline poster. And you may want to hurry.
Behind you?
It might look something like
Yeah.
that. Maybe might have some Silverline characters on it. And you may want to hurry over to our booth, to our table, because we have Daytona Beach limited edition Daytona Beach Comic Convention special edition covers of many of our titles. You can grab those, and like I'm saying, limited edition because we don't have tons and tons of those printed. So come grab those. And there's going to be random Silverline creator signature cards placed in bags of every attendee, and you might see some of our handsome and beautiful faces on those. I'm not sure, but you want to be there. You want to be there. You might. Yeah. If I'm driving from Buffalo, folks, you can make the drive too. Come to the Daytona Beach. Follow me. I'll pick you up on the way. So come to the convention. Thanks to the Daytona Beach folks, the convention. They've been huge supporters and very, very helpful. And I want to thank the other shows that have had us on. Me specifically, last night I got to be on with I can't have everybody's name. Anthony Sika had me on last night. So thanks to him for having me on. We got to talk convention stuff, and I think that's it for all of our housekeeping, all of our reminders. We are passing.
Kickstarter and Indiegogo, go get Kalis.
Yes, go grab Kalis. Get the whole story. Buy some for your friends. They're awesome gifts. And if you've got a comic book friend and somebody who's maybe stuck too much in one title, get them into the indie world, and they can enjoy the Silverline titles. We've got lots of great stories. So go check those out. SilverlineComics.com. Go to Indiegogo, Kickstarter. And thank you to everybody who has supported those campaigns so far and supported all of our Kickstarter campampagns over the past few years. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. So thank you, everybody. Yep. Silverline has got a 100% success and fulfillment rate. And Roland likes for us to remind everybody, because it's not always the case, that our books are complete. So you are really just pre-ordering on these crowdfunding outlets. There's no speculation. You're not wondering, am I going to get my comic book? Am I going to get get the product I purchased? No, you're getting them. They are done. They will go in the mail when this is complete. And there's lots of extras. There's original art, lots of extra goodies as always. And as we go, let's try to unlock some stretch goals. We would love that. So time is always short with the campaigns. They go by very quickly. We would love your support. So thanks, everybody. We can keep talking. We're talking cons. We're talking on both sides of the table. We're talking prep, what we need, the good, the bad, what we do, what we like. I'm a newbie in the comics world, so I'm gleaning a lot of information. The rest of the folks here have been doing this for quite a few years, and we're all admitting every year we learn and change a little, update our table, update how we can attract your attention, how we can get above all the noise, and so we could catch your eye, and maybe you can come read our books or see what we are creating. We can keep talking about that, because I would love to talk about the etiquette on the other side of the table too. We've touched on that a little, about the chatty guest who we want to be polite to, but for all of our fans out there, there's an etiquette as an attendee to talk. Don't bring a mountain of comics for someone to sign that you're going to turn around and then sell, or have some couth. And,
except for Barbara. Barbara loves signing.
Barbara will sign everything.
So will Tommy.
So will Tommy.
Tommy and Roland. They'll sign.
I say everything. That I'll sign hundreds of comics. If you bring hundreds of my comic book,
I can usually tell when somebody is asking me to sign so they can turn around and sell it, and because they bring me 5 or 10 copies of the same book. And that's usually a dead giveaway. If they're bringing one of each issue, it's usually for themselves.
Yeah.
There's Brent.
Brent
Painless Larson.
Hey, are you still on for the show, Brent? Yes. All right.
This is the show, is it not?
I'm sorry. The convention. I'm so sorry. This week.
I am.
Okay. Excellent. So, Brent, we've been talking about prep. What makes a good table, a good presentation, and sometimes it doesn't take much at all. If you're a name or you're a character, you can just get by with Barb said a backpack full of books that you just throw out and you can make your money. But we're talking banners and displays and being nice and sometimes too nice. We're also talking the etiquette for folks on the other side of the table that come to say hello. Sometimes we always want to be polite and talk, but sometimes we need people to politely just make some time for the next person in line. Cosplay, networking, all the good things that come from conventions. And I don't know if you have any immediate thoughts right now.
Mouthwash.
No, nothing. What's that?
You spoke about cosplay. Another thing that I suggest, please don't stand in front of people's booths to do your cosplay photo ops. You're holding people up that could come to our booths. So
but
if you're gonna take photos,
I'm
if you want to photo op and cosplay, step out into a larger area that's not being not set aside for people to try to sell their wares. Just one little level of politeness and awareness is nice, and everybody's doing a thing, and it's fun. Conventions are amazing. They're so much fun because there's you've got the whole spectrum of characters. You've got industry people that have been in it forever. You've got new folks. And that's why we love comic books too, because it's everything. It's science fiction and fantasy, and it's science fiction and fantasy smashed together, and it's crime stories and it's action heroes, and it can be people dressed up as Transformers or I love cosplay.
It's everything, and it's so much fun. But with all that, you get all these characters. You get everybody in one place, and you do have people are trying to sell, and people are trying to get some attention and say, "Can you come over here? Come see my comic book or my artwork or my prints." And when you have sexy Sailor Moon standing in front of your table with blocking the path.
How can you compete with that? I think
I can't. I certainly can't.
That's why you put her to work. You just if you're gonna stand by my table, here's my book. Start selling.
Start selling. Handful of this.
Hold on a second. Can you hold this for me, please?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
hey, Haley.
Hi. I finally made it in. I'm on my phone. My computer, it doesn't want to recognize my camera. I've tried like 3 different browsers. So.
Oh wow.
Very strange. Yeah.
Is it a new camera or just?
So it's like a built-in webcam on my laptop that I tried it with just a camera app and it's working, but the StreamYard, it doesn't want to work, so I don't know.
Well, your picture looks good. Your connection's good. We've been talking. Tommy says, "What's up, everybody? Can't wait to see y'all in a few days." Yes, we will. Most of us will be there. Tommy's going to be there. And we're thankful for Tommy too, because he's keeping me at least from having to bring a couple boxes of comic books. He's got them ready down there from Kablam. Haley, we're in our last half hour here. We're talking cons. I know you've got your own table, right?
I do, yeah.
And what will you be presenting?
So we've got some of the Bear books. I've got those since we just fulfilled the Kickstarter. So got several copies of that, and then also my own Heroic Shenanigans book. I only have I have some smaller books, but of the official volume 1, I only have 6 copies of that left. So
oh boy, you got to sell those for $100 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will print more when I print volume 2, but I keep pushing that back. So who knows?
Yeah. And Brent, things are going well. You're as far as you're concerned as the writer. Your story, that's out there. You said goodbye for now, right? And then,
I'm already working in the next issue.
Okay.
It's already written and a quarter of the way drawn. So goodbye, hello.
Yeah, and so
I'll see you all one day, maybe tomorrow. So yeah.
And so everybody can get. And we just said it before you hopped on. Everybody can grab the entire Kayla story so far.
Yep.
Issues 1 through 4 on Kickstarter, and they can grab the whole trade paperback graphic novel on Indiegogo, which is really cool. This is our first foray into Indiegogo. For all of our backers out there, our super backers, we'd encourage you to go over to Indiegogo, because that would be it's new for us, and we'd love for you to give that avenue a try, because the Kickstarter side has been successfully funded so far. So hop on over. If you got to make a choice, hop on over to Indiegogo and give that a go. And we would be
I think
very
you've been waiting all night to say that.
Yeah, I know. I've got it on my notes. It's that one's done.
Nice.
So
Very
cons. We got a big one in Daytona coming up this weekend. Does anybody have anything on the radar after Daytona? I know, Aaron. Where are you going to? You were or you're going to be somewhere?
I was at Rose City, and then I just don't, strangely enough, I don't see a lot of advertisements. So I need to hunt down cons, but for as many comic book companies and comic book shops are in Portland, Rose City is like the only con they really have. It's really bizarre. You think they'd have lots of little cons. Yeah. No, it's like that's the only one. And once you've done that one, you're kind of done, I guess. There's ones up at Tacoma. You can go to Emerald City in Seattle, but that's like winning the lottery to get into that con.
Really? Yeah.
And so those two kind of overshadow so much. There was one so at Tacoma that I just found out about, but it happens like in October. Some sort of they're already sold out of tables or whatever. So I'm starting to find out, and some have died. We used to have one in Salem. And then that went away. That had a decent show. And so there's some that come and go, and I don't find the new ones in time. Yeah. By the time I find out, it's like 2 weeks away, and I'm like, well, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah. So what Roland's going to be at the PalmCon on October 2nd. Where's that at?
Florida.
Everything's in Florida. He seems to have all these shows in Florida.
I think somebody already said that. Yeah. Every other week he's at a show in Florida.
Yeah.
Anybody else have? I'm going to be in Memphis in November
really
12th and 13th. Yes. So hanging out maybe with Dean Zachary. So
and maybe me.
And that. Ooh, all right, that'll be cool. So that's all I have on my radar. And I keep saying I'm new to this whole thing, so people aren't knocking down my door to get me to show up at their conventions.
There is. So what I'm probably doing besides conventions, I know there's a store called Cosmic Monkey. It's been around for years. They do signings for a lot of local creators during Halloween, Christmas. I don't know if they're going to have them this year. I hope they might. We'll see with the whole pandemic going on. But if they do, I actually have a lot of people. I used to do the free comic book day, and used to have it was like 5 or 6 creators there, and I'd sell for one afternoon for like 2 hours. I'd sell decent amount for 2 hours there, but that may be my next one until whatever shows hopefully struggle back into the limelight around this area.
Yeah, this is actually the first convention I've gone back to since the beginning of the pandemic. In 2020, I had 2 conventions a month for the entire year, and they all got canceled.
Yeah.
And Wizard World was actually, for the first time in my life, they were sponsoring me, and of course,
Fan
Expo bought Wizard World.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was Wizard World is, what is it? Fan
Expo.
Fan X. Oh, okay.
That's interesting. Yeah. They all got canceled. So my big shot there was although I mean I've been
Expo and talked to them. Say you had a thing where you were guesting for Wizard World, but the pandemic shut that down. And
strangely enough, I've heard that Wizard Worlds and stuff are like the worst. Nothing against that con, but like for comic book artists can be the worst because people do not come to those to see comic book artists.
Not like they used to. Yeah. I've done some. There's been some good ones and some really not good ones. Where sales barely covered my expenses. I would have to get myself there, but then they would cover everything else, the hotel and everything. And, now after this one, I'm just starting to fill my roster again. And the first one that I'm going to be doing, unless something comes up in between then, is I'll be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa on January 30th for QuadCon. Yeah, so far, I've been sticking around to a lot of local shows like Mighty Cons and Quad Cons here in the upper Midwest because I actually make a ton more money at the smaller shows than I do at the larger shows because I'm usually the big draw, you know? And at the larger shows, I get lost in the crowd. I'm like a Z list. And
I have found that people gravitate towards laughter.
Laughter?
At a convention, if somebody hears, I guess it's a good thing I got a loud laugh. Because I have found out.
See, look at this is the third one Roland has posted, is it?
Yeah, Roland's everywhere.
Roland,
John, Brent, Haley.
It's in Eustis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere nearby. Roland, he's everywhere. I might just have to move down there for a few months.
I mean, if your house ever gets infested by Roland's,
I'm gonna move down. Roland, you got a spare room? I'm gonna come stay with you.
Yeah, no doubt.
You don't mind if I bring the wife and kids along?
No.
This will be good, John. We'll just have to just yuck it up the whole time, which I'm sure we'll have a hard time doing. Pretty serious business hanging out at a con.
You're not having fun. You're not doing it right.
What? Anybody else got any? Haley, you were in the list. Roland was updating us there at the little pop-up texts there. You've got some stuff on the horizon. Sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
That sci-fi pop fest, and then I don't know if he mentioned there's one. I don't know if it's like an official convention, but it's on Halloween.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that? It went away. I'm sorry. I don't know where those messages go.
They're Roland
Halloween
Haley,
Fest in Leesburg.
Maybe Tommy and Dante will be at the Halloween Fest in Leesburg.
Sweet.
On October 31st.
And Roland will, of course, advertise all those. And he's pretty good about, if he's got a decent connection, he'll go live for a little while and give a rundown. So those are always on our social media outlets. So I encourage everybody, of course, remember to like, subscribe, follow all the things. You know what to do with social media. And get your notifications when Roland goes live or we get all of our updates. And our social media folks, thank you to all you guys out there, the Silverliners that do social media updates, because they do their best to get word out. If it's one of us is going to be somewhere or doing a thing that's not necessarily official Silverline, but they're good about promoting whenever we are out there pressing the flesh. We're getting down towards the end here. Where do we want to take this conversation? What final thoughts do we have on conventions, convention etiquette, professionalism, networking, do's and don'ts of networking? Joss Whedon walks by, or Steven Spielberg, or William Shatner. We throw our manuscript at them, right? We chase them and we say, "You have to read I've got a screenplay," right? You follow them into the bathroom, right? You slide the manuscript under the door of the bathroom. That's etiquette, right? That's the accepted way to get discovered. Yes,
I feel Scott talks from experience.
I
mean, is this something you've done before, sir?
No.
Was that you sliding that thing under the bathroom stall at me? Really, Scott? I'm doing my business here, man.
Was it the one written in crayon? Because
it was. He was all like, "Well, you're not doing anything in there, so you might as well do this."
You got 10 minutes to just kill it.
Yeah, just go for it.
I think it was Peter David that said, if you shove your script under the bathroom stall while he's in it, you're not going to like what he does with it.
Like, oh, thanks. I was out of toilet paper.
I mean, this may sound really corny, but if you're going to a convention to try to round up work, dress like it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Don't dress in a Spider-Man costume and then try to.
Unless you come down on a spider, web,
right.
And then maybe you'll get noticed.
and say if you're going to try to pitch a job to DC, don't wear a T-shirt with Wolverine on it.
They'll find it ironic. It'll be funny.
Oh, sure. We'll add Mr. Chief Cook and Bottom.
Okay. Behave. Businessing and
speaking of people in stalls, welcome, Roland.
In the comic book dungeon.
I was in the stall next to you, and I heard you talking.
Yeah. He's streaming from the stall right
now.
now.
Giving me manuscripts.
I know.
He's just waiting for them, checking under the door.
They give me manuscripts while I'm in the stall, but that's not not what I thought it was for.
I
know. You guys are nuts.
Hey, we got a good crowd tonight, Roland. And most of us are going to be hanging out at the convention here in just a few days. I'm
just
hitting
a matter of days.
Tomorrow morning. I know John's got to drive. I've got to drive ahead of me. Barb's hopping an airplane. Not tomorrow, right?
Jet airliner.
Yep. Yeah, Friday, and we'll all be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. John says psychologically, it is proven laughter will draw people in. So we'll have to figure out a way to have a good time.
Oh, wait! Did you just say Silverline has to figure out a way?
Yeah, we can.
We'll have a good time.
Maybe we can write up some jokes. We can read them. We'll bring jokes along and.
Helium.
We'll figure it out.
Helium. I do still have 2 helium balloons for my son's birthday. Brent, good to see you, man. How you doing?
Yeah, right.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Looks like we lost Haley. She'll come back.
Yeah.
Poor Haley's having terrible connection problems.
Yeah.
I think she was the one clacking on the keys, wasn't she?
I heard. Yeah, clickety clacking.
Yeah. I think that was something that either she. Oh, now she's.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna add her back here.
Yeah.
I don't think you're clacking on. You're not typing, are you, Haley?
It's
just the static.
It's
just the static.
Shut off. And do you guys hear like that crackling or is that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just assume somebody, because whenever Tim is doing it, you can hear Tim go.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oven!
Yeah.
You guys, I so hope Oven can make it to Daytona Beach. He, I can't tell his business, but he may not be able to make it. But man, I have got both of my fingers crossed because Oven is Silverline family, and there's never been a bigger, never ever in the history. Okay, here's the thing: never ever in the entire history of Silverline has there been this many Silverline people in one location.
Ooh.
Cool.
This is
Very cool.
Is an historical event. I gotta say, and I'm from Mississippi, so it's an historical event, right? but it's an historical event, and so I really, really, really hope Oven Oven's a big supporter of ours, and I try to give him a big bear hug whenever I can. So yeah, I hope he can. If you're still on, Oven, I hope you can make it.
And there'll be so many Silverliners, so much mass it might bend light a little. So if you see blackouts across the nation, that's just us for the weekend.
But listen for the laughter and follow.
Listen for the laughter. Follow the laughter.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on joining you guys, but y'all have been so nuts tonight. I'm like, I gotta get on and join these guys. They're having fun.
It's been a good show.
I don't know what you're talking about, Roland.
I heard everything you said, John. I heard everything you said, and I took notes. See, look,
we took notes.
You're gonna have a helper, Roland.
I got helpers.
It's gonna go in your annual review. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to
it's gonna be fun.
Cons as an industry professional. Cons. This is a new thing for me. Like I said, I've been on the creator side of the table just once. I've attended quite a few as a fan, and so I'm really looking forward to this. And it's gonna be a blast. And looking at the roster, just going to their website and looking at all the guests, it's gonna be a blast. All the other folks, all the other characters who are going to be there. There's a lot of people. It's going to be quite the show.
Well, I know you guys have heard me say it before, but this is a true comic show. And I heard Tom was on the OCD, which I will be on tomorrow. Tom was on OCD last week, I think it was. And he was talking about the number of comic book dealers he had there. And I hope you guys are bringing spending money. Because not just to support the other independent comics, but there are going to be comic book dealers there who are going to have all kind of boxes. And I've said before, I am a sucker for the dollar boxes. And I know Brent's kryptonite too. He's a sucker for those graphic novel cheap boxes.
The $5 trade.
$5 trades.
Yeah.
I'll have original artwork too.
There you go. So,
are there any other big celebrities coming to the show?
One of the Bushwhackers.
One of the butcher. Oh, okay.
The wrestling people. You know, John Crowther does the wrestling comics, so he won't be at our table. John's still, he's still Silverline. He won't be at our table. I can't remember. I looked at the floor map, but I can't remember where he is. I think he's just kind of up and over a little bit for Inverse. Anybody remember?
Yeah.
I don't recall, but he will be there. And so, if you have your Team Beatles, you can come get those signed from John. But he won't be at our table. And Haley, I don't know if you guys said that. Haley and Tommy will be at separate tables right across from us. So we could throw paper wads at each other.
Yeah.
I got a special straw for spitballs.
And we're in the main building, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We're not in the.
Well, you know what? I don't think he's calling it main, because that would suggest the people in the other, right? So I think he's calling it the big building and the little building.
Big building, little building. All right, we're in the big building.
We're in the big building.
I guess it's a small press building.
We are not in the small press building.
No, we're in the big one.
We're in the big building. Yeah.
So how many tables are you guys going to have for the island? Do you know? Is it like going to be like a huge? Is it like a bunch of connected tables or?
Yeah. So we've got half. We don't have a whole island. We've got half. So we we'll put up our banners, and then there'll be someone else on the other side of us, right?
Yeah,
behind us. But we'll have like 2 tables on the side, 2 tables on the front. So
that's actually pretty big.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. Telling you, listen, Daytona Beach Comic Con is our sponsor. I know you guys have already said that, but they love us and we love them, and they're good to us. They treat us well. So we try to give them as much love as possible. Yeah.
So do you guys sell comic books there or something? Is this what you're doing? Or?
Yeah, there will be comics.
There will be comics.
There will be comics. There will be more comics there than I have in my office, by the way.
Yeah.
Now that is saying a lot.
And I haven't counted in a long time, but it's probably over 8,000 now. The last time I counted was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I had about 7,500. I feel like I pretty easily have added 500 in the last 3 years. So yeah, there's going to be far more comics at the show than there is in this little room with me.
How big is the show? So it's 2 rooms, a small room, and then there's a bigger room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a building. Yeah, it's a building.
Yeah.
It's like okay, so I don't know what they call them in the rest of the parts of the nation, but it's like one of these livestock.
Like
pavilions.
An
ag building. Yeah, it's like that. And there's a couple of them in this complex. So you can go down there someday and find a car show. They'll pull cars up in it, and they'll have car shows and things like that. We are in 2. The Daytona Beach Comic Con is in 2 of the buildings that are there.
So you're right next to the cows, then.
Yeah,
probably.
Okay.
There's multiple buildings there, so I don't know what else is going on.
You can pet the cows and buy comics. I mean,
so I did go to
slap an ass, and I'm in a donkey.
I have been to a show down in Kissimmee, which is actually where I met Oven. And the first year I went there, it was in a situation like that. But there was the Comic Con, and then right beside, literally in the building, and right beside it was the Jehovah's Witnesses.
I would have gotten in trouble.
Were you really, Haley?
Wow.
Yeah, I remember I was like walking in with my like shorts and a Harry Potter t-shirt, and there were all these like nicely dressed people. Like,
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted a job.
What's that?
Maybe they wanted a job. That's why they were so nicely dressed.
It's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
There were hundreds of them.
Yeah.
They're throwing holy water and all the comic goers.
There were far more of them than attended the convention that first day, anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God, so much
Yeah,
trouble.
like
That's
I
a
don't
good
know
thing
if
I
it
didn't
was
know
a
about that.
convention for them, or if it was just a regular church service, because there was
There was a bunch. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I assumed, and you know what happens when you assume. Please, no one say it. I assumed that it was just a. I'll get it. I assumed that it was just a convention thing for them. But that was an assumption on my part. I don't know. I'm not usually down there at that location except for when I go to the Kissimmee Comic Con.
Yeah, that's almost as bad as like putting a Jehovah's Witness convention next to Burning Man or something. You know, that's like trouble in the making, right? Oh, that's gonna work.
They may have looked at it as an opportunity. You never know.
Yeah, I hope they got some
I'm
cool
on a
comics.
do not knock list for the Jehovah's Witness.
What?
I'm on a do not knock list for a Jehovah's Witness.
I'm afraid to ask why.
Well, let's just say it was very interesting. It was hilarious. There was a demon costume involved, maybe.
Oh my goodness. You know, they can't enter unless you invite them in.
They can't though.
Brent like that.
So this convention 2 days, right?
Yes.
What time are the show days? What time do you got to be there? What time does it end?
Look, I have a handy dandy.
Whoa, that's right. There you go.
I've been handing these out. Yeah. The show is on Saturday. It starts at 10 o'clock and ends at 5. On Sunday, it starts at 10 o'clock and ends at 4.
That's not bad. That's good.
Listen, here, look, check out the price. Right? Let me kind of get the price up there. It's $10 a day.
3,100.
It's New York Avenue.
$15 for both days.
I also hear
That's
the badges
great.
look really,
Yeah,
really
people
cool
had
for
to
that
pay.
price.
Somebody help me out here. People had to pay like $60 a day at MegaCon.
Yeah. Road City, I
And-
think last time was 40. No, I don't. I've been exhibitors. I haven't paid to get in, but last time I paid to get in was $40 for 1 day.
For
That
one
was
day.
just Saturday.
And so here's what I always say: if you're a comic book fan, why would you pay $60 and not see very many comic books?
Exactly.
Right? Because it's all about media. When you can pay $15 and spend 2 days and see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, maybe. I don't do math. A bunch of comic books.
Thousands
Right?
of hundreds.
More. Listen, Daytona Beach. Here, I haven't counted them, but I know Daytona Beach Comic Con will have more comic books than MegaCon had.
And that's saying a lot because they both have Comic Con in the title. You
Well,
know?
MegaCon does not. It's just I don't think it has comic in it. It's just MegaCon.
MegaCon.
Yeah.
It's it seems weird because this is the thing that always irritates me to all the bigger conventions. Yes, I'm all talking to you. I understand you have to charge a high rate to cover all the costs, but when you charge somebody $40, they don't got much left to spend on stuff that they're selling.
Exactly.
It's just called MegaCon Orlando.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it does not have comic in it.
$15. Think of how much more money they're going to have to spend on,
Well, that's
on
it.
Silverline stuff.
And that's exactly it. And this is one of the things that Tom, the guy who runs Daytona Beach Comic Con, this is one of the things he says. He's like, look, he says, I'm not trying to fleece the people at the door. He said, because he has a booth there as well. He has a booth set up where he sells comic books, oddly enough, and other stuff. But he's like, look, I want them to come in and spend their money on the floor. And he goes, I don't want to take all their money at the door. I just need enough to cover the expenses so that all the vendors can then make money.
And the media people do this too. If it's not the tickets at $40, then they come in and spend $60, $100 to get an autograph, and then they got no money for the floor.
Right.
It completely defeats the purpose of like having the show floor. Might as well not even have it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, like
I know the conventions here in Memphis are pretty affordable to get into.
and some of those autographs, I went by one lady celebrity who she started in that show, The Boys. That's all I know. And like, how much for an autograph? I was going to get one for a friend, $60, and I'm like, what else? What else did she start in?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unreal. I mean, if I was charging $60, I wouldn't charge $60 for my autograph. It's $100. I mean, come on, I'm not that cheap.
All right,
but
that's
still,
actually a good question, right? As we get ready to go here.
Yeah.
I think I've asked before. Barb, do you charge for your autograph?
No, never
Nope.
have, never will.
Scott, you charge for your autograph?
Scott, who?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know some of these answers, but we need to say them for the screen, right? John, do you charge for your autograph?
No, not even. I'm not even going to charge for the autograph or signing badges.
Badges.
Right, because his art's on the badges.
We don't need no stinking badges. Brent, do you sign? Do you charge for your autograph?
Only when I'm signing as Randy Travis.
Yeah, that would make sense. You get mistook
Okay, so I
for Randy
charge if
Travis
you
very
want me to
often.
sign.
I used to.
Yeah, it's the singing voice, right? You gonna break out in
I wouldn't know.
Billy song?
The only thing I know is when when
It's got to bring his banjo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have banjo will travel.
Haley, do you charge for your autograph?
Mm-mm.
I don't charge for my autograph. So see there, you can come to Daytona Beach Comic Con and you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 that you know of autographs for free. I'm pretty sure John and Tommy do not charge.
Bring your signature book if you've got one. Bring your Silverline signature book.
Or bring three books.
I'm saying everybody out there.
I do know that Barbara sometimes, when she signs, will make people call her Your Majesty. She had me do that for a while.
Well, you know why?
You know,
The Empress.
She's the Empress. She's the Empress.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't do sketches, however. That's the one thing I have performance anxiety, so
I will.
Roland, did you hear us offer VIP status to anyone who cosplays as a Silverline character?
I did not.
We authorized that. We went above your head. So if someone cosplays as a Silverline, we don't know what VIP status means.
Ask, what does that mean?
We'll have to figure that out. But they'll get VIP status as a Silverline super
they
fan.
get to take a picture with all the Silverliners there. There you go. She gets a picture with this. Now that's worth it alone.
Super cool. I gotta tell you, one of my little secret goals is that I look forward to the day that we start showing up at conventions and people do start showing up in cosplay of our characters. That's when I'll go.
I put it out there.
That's cool.
I put it out there. I said somebody, if first person to show up at the booth cosplaying as Seraph from Friar Rush, I will give them a free 9x12 sketch.
Nice.
If I can grow my beard out big, burly, like black, like John, can I cosplay as you, John?
No.
There's only one.
There's only one. That way, people will be like, the resemblance is uncanny. I don't know who the real John is.
It takes years to get this far.
That's true. I don't have. My beard can never do that.
It's a lot of work. Hey, we passed the 9:30 mark here on the East Coast. I need to start wrapping up at least because I have to get up bright and early and start my trek south toward the Sunshine State here from beautiful Western New York. So I'm gonna leave tomorrow. Well, tomorrow morning ish because it's about 17 hours drive time. So I'm gonna split it in 2 days.
Oh, I got you.
So I can get in Friday evening. And be ready bright and early for Saturday morning to.
A younger man could make that drive straight.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness! If it starts cracking 10 hours, and it's coffee in and then coffee out, and I'm pulling over every 12 minutes at every rest stop.
Well, how long does it take you to hitch up the horses and stuff? I mean, it takes you a while then, right? You know?
Yeah, I gotta get the wagon wheels.
On there.
And
so when I first took the job here, at Full Sail, for almost 2 years, I commuted back and forth to Mississippi. And yes, I did. Once a week, I would make the drive. And usually it was on a Wednesday. I would leave on Wednesday. I would leave here, drive to Mississippi, spend the week in Mississippi. On Wednesday, then I would drive back here. It was a 13-hour drive, and I could make that. But right at about 11 hours, I started going, rolling the window down and poking my head out, and slapping myself, and. It got to be really long. So once my daughter graduated and my family moved down here, I was thankful not to have that.
There was a day I could do it. I know I can't anymore. I have to admit it. I have to. So I'm gonna split it up and I like driving, so it's gonna be a fun road trip.
Get you a good book. Get you some good podcasts.
Oh
right?
yeah. I've been listening to. Oh gosh, I'm totally blanking on it. The Way of Kings. The Way of Kings. Is that the?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was like the first book is a 44-hour audio book.
Well, there you go. That's your entire trip to and back, right?
You have a CD player?
I do still have a CD player. My van is old enough to have a.
I'll let you have this on your way back.
Oh, thank you. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I have about 100 audiobooks.
Exactly. Yep. I've got my Audible subscription. I've got multiple credits still probably that I recently listened to Jurassic Park. I forgot how different it was from the movie.
I heard. I've never read the book. I heard the book's a lot bloodier.
It is. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Just very different than the movie.
Yeah.
So I love audiobooks. My problem with audiobooks is I get so in the zone. Like I wonder how many people I've run over, how many lights I've gone through, and how far past my exit I've gone because I'm just listening and driving. And I'm pretty bad at that. So hey, we're supposed to be wrapping up here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna see most of you guys here in a few days. I'm very excited. I have never met any of you. I haven't met any of you in person. Yes.
After this, he's going to quit the show.
I'm going to be done.
I met these guys.
Wait,
no way am I doing this again.
Did you come here for graduation?
I didn't meet you though. I didn't meet you. Did you? Do you have a memory of meeting me?
I do.
We
did.
We didn't meet.
I have a recollection of shaking your hand and meeting. Me, you do. I charge a lot. Did you not bring your wife and kids?
I did, but we didn't meet. Did we?
I have a recollection of meeting you very briefly right after the graduation, right outside the front door.
Yeah.
Just shook your hand and said hello, and you were off to do something. I can't remember where you were headed.
Then I do apologize.
No, it's okay.
Probably listening to an audiobook and he just
he missed the turn.
It was the euphoria of having graduated and being in Florida and the Full Sail and all everything happening. So
I think you had a kid, one of the kids running around, maybe.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, I do have a recollection. Now it wasn't very long. It was a very brief. Hey, nice to meet you in the person. Congratulations on graduating. What are you doing? I'm going to Disney World, kind of.
Actually, Universal. We did go to Universal.
Okay, you went to Universal.
All right. Well, then I'm looking forward to remembering our meeting. I'm so sorry.
Looking forward to meeting you for the first time again.
We will be good. I'm gonna close this out here. There's a huge chunk of Silverliners, the biggest ever collection of Silverline creatives in one place ever in the history of the universe. This weekend, September 18th and 19th at the Daytona Beach Comic Convention. I don't know if you can. I've got a dog going crazy upstairs. Sorry.
I heard the dog.
Daytona Beach Comic Convention, and
house. He's got his kids locked up. Dad, aren't you done yet?
I will let you out tomorrow.
I'm hungry.
I fed you this morning.
Back on your wheel.
Got to keep the internet running out here. Folks, if you are anywhere near Florida, anywhere near the United States, and you can be in Daytona Beach this weekend, we'd love to see you. And thank you to the Daytona Beach Comic Convention, folks. You've been a huge supporter of us for a long time now. And we've been saying brought to you by, and we are very thankful for that. We will be at the convention. We'll be signing. We've got signing books. We've got lots of goodies and handouts. First 250 people get posters. So be there early. Bring your walking around money and grab some comics from all of us. And before that, go over to Kickstarter and go over to Indiegogo and check out K-Less. Grab the whole book, the whole story. K-Less is. We're wrapping up a story arc here. Brent has put tons of good work into it. Brent has written an amazing story. Go support Brent, support Silverline, and grab K-Less. And if you have to pick one, go to Indiegogo. Yeah. This is our first foray into that, and we'd love to see that succeed. So head over there and grab as many copies as you can of the trade paperback graphic novel of K-Less.
They make great gifts.
Yes, they do. They're fantastic gifts, and you'll get them in time. They are ready to go the moment things are done, and all the money is doled out where it needs to go to pay for the product. Roland and his crew, they get on it, and those are in the mail as soon as possible. So that story is done. You will have it soon, and you'll have it well before Christmas if you want to buy that for a gift. It'd be a fantastic gift. Absolutely. And that Anybody else? Any parting thoughts before we go? Aaron, thank you for running the show before I jumped on. You guys are all fantastic.
That's fine. Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks for letting me crash the party.
Yeah, of course, always.
Just know that if you don't get the K-list, you might make Brent cry, and you don't want to see that.
No. Crying drives people away from the comic book.
There's no crying in comics.
There isn't any crying in comics that you don't want to do that. So make sure, for our sakes, that we don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It'll be a long weekend otherwise. Yes.
All right, folks. Hey, I can't wait to see all of you guys. I'm gonna wrap up and say goodnight. We've gone a little long here for the show, but it's been a blast. And as always, remember to like, share, comment, follow, subscribe, share. And if you're watching this not live, throw your comments on there, and we try to get back to those as best as we can. And we love your interaction. You're all Silverline family out there. And we will keep making great stories. Come see us at Daytona Beach. And as always, make mine Silverline. Good night, everybody. See you in Florida.